I've received a lot of gifts in my life, some cool, some useful, some so generic they could have been picked up at the gas station on the way to my birthday party. But none of them compare to the absolute weirdness of the gift I got from my Uncle Pete when I turned 12. To this day, I'm not sure if he was trying to make a point, pull a prank, or if he just genuinely thought it was the best present ever. But let me start from the beginning. My 12th birthday was a big deal for me. I'd been dropping hints for months about the latest handheld gaming console, even leaving the catalog open on the kitchen table, accidentally on the right page. I had plans. I was going to spend the whole summer conquering virtual worlds, saving princesses, and collecting coins. My parents, of course, gave me socks and a book about the importance of time management, which is just the kind of thing parents do. But I had hope. Uncle Pete was coming, and Uncle Pete was legendary for his gifts. One year, he gave my cousin a remote-controlled helicopter. The year before that, he showed up with a set of magic tricks that kept us entertained for weeks. So, when he arrived, I was practically vibrating with anticipation. Uncle Pete was his usual self loud, wearing a shirt with cartoon ducks and carrying a mysterious, oddly shaped package wrapped in newspaper. He winked at me as he handed it over, saying, "This one's special, kiddo." The package was heavier than I expected, and it made a strange rattling noise when I shook it. My mind raced with possibilities. Maybe it was a puzzle box? Or some kind of mechanical toy? I tore off the newspaper, and there it was, a large, slightly battered, bright blue garden gnome. Yes, a garden gnome. Not just any garden gnome, either. This one was holding a fishing rod, wearing sunglasses, and had a huge, mischievous grin painted across its face. There was even a tiny plastic fish dangling from the end of the rod. For a moment, I just stared at it, trying to process what I was seeing. My parents looked equally confused. My mom tried to cover the awkward silence with a polite, "Oh, how unique." My dad just snorted, which I later realized was his way of holding back laughter. Uncle Pete beamed, clearly proud of his choice. "Every hero needs a sidekick," he said, as if that explained everything. "This little guy's name is Gary. He's good luck." And he's seen some things. I looked at Gary the gnome and wondered what kind of things a plastic garden ornament could possibly have seen, but I didn't have the heart to ask. Instead, I managed a weak, "Thanks, Uncle Pete," and set Gary down next to my pile of socks and time management wisdom. The rest of the party went by in a blur. My friends teased me about my new best friend, and my cousin tried to convince me Gary was haunted. That night, as I got ready for bed, I found myself staring at the gnome, now perched on my desk. There was something about his grin that was both comforting and slightly unsettling, like he knew a secret I didn't. Over the next few days, weird things started happening. Not supernatural, weird, just odd. I'd find Gary in different places around the house. One morning, he was sitting on the kitchen counter, fishing rod pointed at the fruit bowl. Another day, he was in the bathroom, sunglasses fogged up from the shower. No one in my family would admit to moving him, but I had my suspicions. My little sister, Emma, was notorious for pranks, but she swore up and down that she had nothing to do with it. My parents just shrugged and said, maybe Gary's just trying to find his place. Eventually, Gary became a running joke in our family. He showed up in the most unexpected places inside the fridge, on top of the television, even once in my backpack when I got to school. My friends thought it was hilarious. "You brought your emotional support gnome?" one of them asked, and I just rolled with it. Gary became my unofficial mascot. He even made it into the yearbook, thanks to a particularly creative photo day. But here's the weirdest part. Over time, I actually started to like having Gary around. He was a reminder not to take life too seriously, to expect the unexpected, and to find humor in the little things. Whenever I was stressed about homework or annoyed at my parents, I'd look at Gary's ridiculous grin and feel a little better. He was like a silent cheerleader, always there with his fishing rod and sunglasses, ready for whatever came next. Years later, when I went off to college, I packed Gary in my suitcase. My roommate was a little freaked out at first, but eventually, even he admitted that the gnome had a certain charm. Gary sat on our windowsill, keeping watch over late-night study sessions and ramen noodle disasters. He became a conversation starter, a source of comfort, and a piece of home. Looking back, I realized that Uncle Pete's gift was strange, yes, but also kind of brilliant. Anyone can give you the latest gadget or a gift card, but it takes a special kind of person to give you something that becomes a story, a tradition, and a weirdly loyal companion. So, thanks, Uncle Pete. Gary and I are still going strong, and if anyone ever asks about the strangest gift I've ever received, I just point to the blue gnome with a fishing rod and say, "You had to be there."